Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. So we're going to do another Claire Compares and we're going to do purpley kind of shades today. On my nails is a Lottie London that I was kind of umming and ahhing about in the D stash and I decided to keep it. It's a beautiful royal blue and it's called Peace Out. That's 2 coats with a top coat. Okay, so digging out my old unused swatch wheels, so I'm going to use this one and we're going to look at some purpley shades. So we've got here Orlys Fowl Play, and this is, I don't know the name of this Illamasqua. If I've managed to find it and look for it as I'm editing, I'll put it along here, but if anybody knows, yeah, these two look very similar to me. In the bottle, at least. So, Orly and Illamasqua. Maybe the glitters might be a bit bigger on this one, but we'll see. Also, a couple of recent Me Box editions. So this one came in last month's Gatsby box, and this is a Colour Club, and it's called Midnight Mulberry. And to me it looked very similar, although now this one looks darker in the daylight, but it looked quite similar to Vintage Violet, so again I wanted to do a comparison with these. Now when you take them far away they look very different, but to my eye through the screen they look very similar. This was a polish that came in this month's Me Box, March Me Box, and this is Extravagant. And I do like this. I like the colour, I like the shade. It's a pretty good formula, but to me it looked quite similar to these two here. It does look a little bit paler, but this is OPI Anti-Bleak and this is Mavala Milano. So I want to compare it against these two because the problem that I've found with this is I applied it earlier, I tried to apply it, and the problem that I've found is with this bottle shape, even though the formula is great and it's a great colour, just because it's a little bit thick, because of the length of this stem, I find that it's not as easy to apply. I'm making lots of mistakes, and by the time I got halfway through the second coat I just removed it. Now these bottle shapes, it's not always the same. So for example with Lauren B, they're exactly the same bottle shape, but I think because this is a slightly thinner formula, for some reason it's easier to work with. I just found this one quite difficult. So I'm going to see if it's significantly different from these two, I will keep it. If not, I'm probably going to be destashing, which is a shame because I've literally just got it. But yeah, anyway, let's make a start. So let's start with the Fowl Play and the Illamasqua. So the Orly and the Illamasqua. So this is Fowl Play. So this is definitely a purple, dark purple base. Quite a jellyish formula. Oops, sorry if I was completely out of focus for that, out of frame. That's 1 coat of Fowl Play. It does build up really nice and it looks great. It's a brilliant autumn kind of shade. One of my favourites and one that I definitely kept in the Orly D stash. So let's see. So again, in the bottle, to me they look quite similar. They're definitely comparable. I don't think they're going to be dupes, but let's see how close they are. This top lid won't come off, so I'm just going to have to use it like this. Okay, so this is, it's darker and I would say it's a better formula, but I've got a feeling that on 2 coats they're actually going to be quite similar. There's a bit more of a glitter payoff in the Orly, but again, that's because it's got a shearer formula. Yeah, you can see the difference on the nail there and in the shade, but we'll see. I'm likely to be keeping both. Well, I think I've already said that I'm going to keep both of them, but I just wanted to see what they were like on the nail, because in the bottle they do look very similar. Okay, so that's the Orly and the OPI. So we're now going to look at the Colour Club, Midnight Mulberry and Vintage Violet from Barry M. So this is the Colour Club. Again, this was a me box from the Gatsby theme, which was last month. So it's that muted, greyed out, plummy kind of colour. So that's one coat, and this is Vintage Violet by Barry M. And yeah, this is going to be quite a bit darker. I've just had a deja vu that I've done this comparison before, but it might just be because I was imagining it, I don't know. Slightly better formula, I would say, on the Barry M. And you can definitely see the difference in colour there on that first coat, but I think this will deepen on the second coat. And then this kind of muted wine, burgundy, plummy kind of colour. And this is the Nailberry. Just found it more difficult to control with the longer stem. I don't know if anybody else experiences this kind of thing. Great bottle, lovely, pretty shaped bottle, but just that length of that stem just makes me lose control a little bit. So this is OPI Anti-Bleak, and I've got a feeling this is going to be a little bit pinkier. Yep. Oops. Yeah, these are definitely more autumn kind of shades. And finally, the Mavala Milano, which is very similar to Anti-Bleak. And not as good a formula. Okay, so that's one coat on all of them so far. Second coat usually makes the difference, so I will do that and come back and we'll have a closer look. Okay, so here's the second coat. This is the Orly and the Illamasqua, and definitely more comparable on that second coat. Can we get a bit more focus? Yeah, there we go. So a little bit more comparable, but definitely the Orly. You can see those copper glitters much more than you can in the Illamasqua, but they're both equally beautiful polishes, and I'm keeping them both. The Colour Club did deepen up a little bit on the second coat, but it's still not as dark as Vintage Violet. It's definitely in the same colour category, but just a couple of shades darker. And yeah, I like both of them. Now, whereas the Nailberry is definitely more purple and the OPI and the Mavala are more red toned, so I don't know, I'm going to keep this one and just kind of learn to adapt to the slightly different application with that brush, but I may not keep the Mavala. just because it wasn't as good a formula as Anti-Bleak, and it's very, very similar in shade. Yeah, this one's going, and this one is already staying from my OPID stash. Yeah, and those two, yeah, really are quite similar, but this one's more purpley and more pronounced with the glitters. Okay, so that was my purpley plummy comparison. I'm just looking at them as, you know, as I'm destashing and thinking, oh, that looks similar to another one that I've seen. So these are more kind of like destashing type of comparisons. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.